It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Announcer Guy. What's happening, everybody? It is showtime. So I saw Damian Lillard, a.k.a. Dame Dollar, NBA star, out in Los Angeles, playing my Lakers. My Lakers lost again. So when he has a great game and he makes an amazing shot, he goes like, it's Dame time. Monday through Friday, it ain't Dame time. It's Geno Jones showtime. Showtime. So I'm coming to you live Monday through Friday, part of the Geno Jones Network, right here on the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. So please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Subscribe, share, like, and binge watch all my back episodes. Shout out to the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Straight from the chair to the camera, from the chair to on camera, Markel Bailey, the CEO of Designer Cuts. You can check him out on Instagram. Kel be cutting up, because as you can see, Kel be cutting up. I had to make sure I'm camera ready, because tomorrow, I might as well make this announcement at the beginning of the show to let you know my very special guest tomorrow. They've got the number one song. It's been number one for at least 4 weeks, I believe, going on 5 straight weeks. The number one R&B song in America. As they say, America. Ronald Isley. Ernie Isley. That's right. Mr. Big. Mr. Big, Ronald Isley, and his brother Ernie Isley, a.k.a. the Isley Brothers. My guest live right here on the Geno Jones Show tomorrow, Wednesday, October 26th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago. If you're out there chilling out in L.A. with Mr. Big and company, you can check them out, 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast. And if you're in Hawaii, 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Spread the word. Spread it like a good virus. Spread it like y'all spread the rumors in the barbershops and the hair salons and nail salons. Yeah, like that. Spread that kind of rumor. And spread this. 14 days until Election Day. Now let me say, it's really election season, because Election Day, early voting has already began in many states. Early voting began here in South Carolina yesterday. Early voting began in Texas yesterday. Early voting has been going on in Georgia. I believe early voting has started already in Florida, many states. So check with the Board of Elections, or depending like Illinois, the Secretary of State. Go to their website, call them, your county Board of Elections, your city, or like I say, your Secretary of State, to find out when early voting. I think most states now have early voting, but just check, go to their website or call them to be sure. So listen, let me just put this, I'm going to just cut through the chase today. 14 days until Election Day, but it's election season because, like I said, you can early vote. So for some of you all that may be in a barbershop or a hair salon, like, oh, man, look, I ain't voting. You know, they both the same. Wrong. No, both parties. You really only have one really political party that actually wants to govern and to help people, to make people's lives better. And the other party, it's not even a political party. It's a cult. It's just a fact. So let's talk about what happens if you don't vote. And I told you what, vote for people who want to protect your freedom, your money, and your health. Once again, vote for the people. Think about who is it that wants to protect your freedom, your finances, and your health. All right? But let's talk about what this cult, what they want to do, not for you, but to you and your family, your mom and your elderly mom and dad, or your grandparents, or maybe you. Maybe if you got a sister or brother, maybe you're struggling, maybe you need some type of public assistance. So let's cut through the chase. And here's the beautiful thing about it. This cult, they haven't tried to hide it. They said the quiet part out loud. They've gotten in front of cameras. They are live streaming all on the internet, and social media, and right here on YouTube. They have told you what they plan to do if they get back in power. They have said, as a matter of fact, one of the MAGA cult members in the House of Representatives, they have this like plan. It's like a contract, what they want to do for America. It's really what they plan to do to America. So let's just cut through the chase. Let me tell you what's going to happen. This is not my opinion. This is not perception. This is not speculation. This is fact based on what they have said publicly and what they have printed publicly. They will shut down the government because you know why? They plan to shut down the government so they can use that excuse to basically get rid of Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. Now think about it. They're going to force the government shut down to because they have wanted to get rid of, really, these people, this cult, and the cult members before them who weren't really a cult, but they were, they really wanted to get rid of Social. You've had a group of people that wanted to get rid of Social Security since former President Franklin Roosevelt instituted Social Security in the 30s. Because you know what was happening to elderly people before Social Security? They literally wound up in what they used to call the poorhouse, where they had to live with relatives. Now think about it. So Social Security is something that you pay into. So if you are in your late 50s, or your 60s, you've been paying into Social Security. I think the first job I had, I was 14. I worked at it. Actually, my first job, it was a summer job, and I was what they called a bus boy. I had to go by, it was a restaurant, and I had to pick up all the dirty dishes, and I had to take them in the back, and then give them to the dishwasher. Then I had to, make sure they put clean table settings. I hated it, but I loved the free Coca-Cola. I drank so much Coca-Cola that when my skin broke out. I came home every day with 2 large bags of Coca-Cola. I digress. So the point I'm trying to make, my first job, I was like 14. So many of us, we have been working since our teenage, we have been paying into Social Security. So when you get to a point to where, I don't know, because also this cult, they want to make it to where you have to be 70 before you can even collect Social Security. I think the earliest you can claim Social Security, you can Google it, Google search it, Google Scholar it or whatever. I think around 60, 62, 63, I think is when you can first collect Social Security. And I believe then again it's 65 or 66, and then it's 70. But they want to make it mandatory. You have to wait until you're 70. Now, if you are a black man in America, the average, what they call median age, like they'll do an average of like the oldest black person that lives and the youngest. The average age, the average life expectancy for black men is not even 70. So they want to make it where you'll be dead before you can even get Social Security. Now think about it. You have paid, when you look at your check, you'll see FICA, and then you'll see with Social Security deductions. That's money that's come out of every paycheck. If you pay FICA, which is federal income tax, you'll see FICA, Social Security. Talk to the H&R person; they'll show it to you. I know a lot of times we don't get paper pay stubs. They do them online. Go online and look at your check stub. You'll see it. They take out Social Security deductions out of every paycheck that you get. That's your money. You paid into it. But this cult, they want to get in power, shut down the government, say, oh, well, you know what? We've got to cut some of these. They call them entitlement programs. Now, when corporations are bailed out, like in 2008, when this country almost literally went bankrupt, when all the banks were shutting down, the taxpayers bailed out the banks. They didn't call that like welfare or handout. That was a bailout. But when it comes to, and this is not help, you're not helping people. This is their money. This is our money that we have paid into Social Security for 20, 30, 40, some people maybe close to 50 years paid into Social Security. This is their money. So how in the hell are you going to say, well, we got to cut Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid? No. Take back some of those big ass tax breaks that you gave to these billionaires and corporations. They've all made record profits during the pandemic when tens of millions of people either got laid off or lost their job. There are so many companies that made record profits. Now think about that. How in the world could the whole planet be in quarantine, yet some companies made more money than they ever made while the entire planet was shut down, was in quarantine? But now you want to tell people that worked all their life, well, we're going to have to cut Social Security and Medicare, which is basically insurance for people who are on Social Security, or Medicaid, poor and working class people that need assistance. And the majority, once again, I'm going to say this again, the majority of people who are on public assistance, some kind of Medicaid or what they call the SNAP program, used to call it food stamps, welfare, are white people. The predominant, the largest number between black, white, Hispanic, Asian, men, women, the largest number are white. Women, actually, out of all the different demographic groups. And some of these same white women are going to vote for this MAGA cult. Why would you vote against your own best interest? Why would you vote against your own best interest? And this is the same cult that's saying to all women, including these white suburban Christian moms, if your 10-year-old daughter or granddaughter gets raped, we're going to force her to have the baby. I'm sorry. It's too bad. They're not even concerned about the rapist, but they're more concerned about locking up the doctor who performs the abortion, or locking up women who terminate a pregnancy. They've told you they want to create a federal law in all 50 states to ban abortion at 6 weeks with no exceptions. No rape exceptions, no incest exceptions, not even the life of the mother. Well, we know that you've damn near bled out because this fetus has died inside of you, or this, what's left of it. But we don't know if we can trust you. You might just be doing that just so you can get this abortion. As a matter of fact, that's happening now. That has been happening. You've had women who literally have, in some cases, they've died, they have hemorrhaged, they have bled out because they have been forced to carry literally dead fetuses or dying fetuses inside of them, because the states they live in, a lot of these Republican, or not Republican, MAGA cult states, or some people call red states, Texas, Alabama, Indiana, I could go on and on and on. They want to force women to have a child, even if that child is dead inside of them, or even if having that unborn fetus will kill the mother. And these are men, old men, sitting around telling women what to do with their body. So this is what this MAGA cult wants to do to you. Okay? They want to, now you talk about, let's talk about the crime. Oh, crime, everybody's worried about crime. Really? All these people, now it's funny, all of a sudden, all these states where you don't even have a lot of black people. Because 7 out of the 10, let's put it this way, 7 out of the 10 states with the highest murder rate per capita based on population are what they would call Republican or MAGA, as I call them, MAGA cult states. The crime rate, the murder rate in Oklahoma is twice that of New York City. Yeah, it's more people in New York City or in New York State. But the crime rate based on their population is damn near twice as high. The murder rate is twice. You can find these facts out for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. So it's awfully funny that all of a sudden you worried about crime, but then you had a MAGA cult that they don't want to give cities and police departments money for community policing, to where the police can get out in the neighborhoods, get out of the cars, and develop programs where they can develop relationships with the community they are policing, and not treat it like it's like a police state, like you're in Nazi Germany. These are humans. Get out of the car, interact with the people. Give them your business card. Walk down the street. Talk to them, ask them how their life is doing. Maybe set up like a little basketball or football game with the children in the neighborhood. Then the children won't see you as a threat. Maybe you wouldn't be those police officers who don't see black people as human, who sees a black body, especially a male black body, just our bodies are a threat. Just feels if any black man is a threat, and you're quick to pull a trigger. Well, maybe if you got to know these black people, these children, young black men, children and women, you'd see that they're not that much different than your kids. They have dreams and goals and aspirations, and they have the same concerns about school. And when they get older, they worry about dating, and if they can afford to go to college, or if they have the same dreams that your kids have. But you got too many police in these neighborhoods, and especially in black and brown neighborhoods in big cities. You got police officers who don't live in those neighborhoods, who don't know anything about them, and who come in these neighborhoods with bias and prejudice and a really racist, bigoted perception and stereotype of people in this neighborhood. I know, because I grew up on the south side of Chicago. So I'm not telling you something that I think. I'm telling you something that I experienced, that I lived. I know what it's like to be profiled and have a cop. Literally, you walking home from school in high school, you got on dress pants and a nice jacket, and they stop and say you look like a suspect. And you say, well, who's this person look like? And they tell you, well, he had on blue jeans and something, and you got on dress pants and a jacket. I'm like, well, I don't have on blue jeans. So how do I look like the suspect? Because I was a young black man. So think about what this cult wants to do to you, not for you, but to you. Get rid of Social Security. They've said it publicly. You can find it. You can go to their websites. They will shut down the government to get rid of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. They have voted against reducing the price of prescription drugs. They voted against allowing the government to make sure that no drug company, no pharmaceutical company could charge you more than $35 a month for insulin, or $35 period for insulin. Period. Anytime you need to buy insulin, you shouldn't be paying $600, $700, $800, some cases nearly $1,000. for a drug that only costs the manufacturers $10 to make. Come on, man. Price gouging. Oh, this is the same cult that wants to allow companies like these oil companies, even though shout out to President Biden because the price of oil is going down, down, down again because he released 15 million barrels of our own oil here in America. They call it the strategic petroleum, I'm paraphrasing. So we have these huge tanks, millions and millions of barrels of oil. And it has a term, it's it's like our reserve. Because it's got like I'm paraphrasing it because I can't think of the exact term. But the petroleum, the first word escapes me, but it's like our petroleum reserve. So it's just basically, it's just like having emergency gas. So we have millions, actually, we had a couple hundred millions of barrels of like spare gas. Just make it real simple. Strategic petroleum reserve, something to that effect. The fancy name don't really matter. Put it where the ghost can get it, Geno. Not trying to impress anybody. Strategic petroleum reserve, though. That's basically what it's called. Mr. Technician, please, you'll bring me back on camera once you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So, but think about it. There are no more like shortages when you go to the grocery store. Like I said, I go to the supermarket too much. Twice, 2-3 times a week, too many times. There was a time where you couldn't find chicken on the, there was a time you couldn't even get toilet paper, paper towel. You can get anything. There's plenty of chicken, there's plenty of toilet paper, there's plenty of paper towel, there's plenty of fish when I want to go get some catfish. So there are no shortages, not at all. There are no gas shortages. It's not like the 70s. Like I said, we have a strategic reserve of oil now. And President Biden, he released some of it. And the prices are going down. But this cult, this MAGA cult, wants to allow companies to price gouge gasoline, food prices, because there's no reason why these prices should be going up. You know why they're going up? Because they can. And they'll blame it. Oh, inflation. Well, really, just exactly, if there's no more shortage and the demand and the supply kind of evens out, it's not like, there's a shortage of gas, shortage of food, and there's this huge demand, there's not enough. There's enough to go around for everybody. And the price that these huge oil companies are paying on the world market has dropped, like President Biden said. So if your price is dropping, why is your price dropping, but my price is going up? You charging me more and you paying less? That's price gouging. On the streets, that'll get you hurt or worse. You could just go straight. That's like a strong, you robbing me without a gun. That's like armed robbery without the arm. So just think about what this cult wants to do to you. That's what's going to happen if you don't vote. And everybody that you know. Because this thing called democracy that we've taken for granted, there are young women now. My daughters have less freedoms today than my mother and my wife have had for the last 4, 5, 6 decades. That's a fact. That's a fact. And we got to do something about that. And you can do something about it. And your vote counts. And let me just shut this nonsense down too. Because see, this cult, they try to play mind games. They put seeds out there. Or, black men are not going to vote for Stacey Abrams. Black men don't vote. A lot of them are voting for Orange Hitler. It's like, well, okay, let me just set the record straight. 8 out of 10, almost 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 black men voted for President Joe Biden. Historically, black men between the mid 80s to the mid 90s%. So 8.5 to 9.5 out of every 10 black men are voting for democracy. Black women, higher numbers, always 90 plus, low mid 90s. 92 to 95, 96%. I think when Barack won the first time, 96% of black women voted for President Obama. Like 90, low 90s, 90, around 91, 92% of black men. Then it dropped until like, I think the mid 80s when President Obama ran the second time, somewhere like the mid 80s, I think. 85, somewhere 85, 86% of black men voted for him. Orange Hitler got like close 15 to 18%. So that's still 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 black men voted for democracy. Now, let's talk about all the white men who don't support democracy and Hispanic men who voted for Orange Hitler, or the Asian men. So be careful. Don't spread the brainwash. Don't spread the misinformation. Don't allow people to pit us against each other, especially brothers and sisters. Know the facts. And if you got a question, you can just jump in my chat room. Shout out to my mother, my number one fan, and my executive producer. And let me shout out somebody. Hey, Danica. Let me shout out Danica. We got a new member in the Geno Jones Show chat room. How are you doing, my friend? All right. Professional hairstyling. What's up, Danica? From Professional Hairstyling. I think if you all are watching me in the salon, and a shout out to everybody that watches me in the evening in the hair salons or the barbershops. So once again, it's election season now. Early voting has begun. Early voting began here in South Carolina yesterday, Monday. It began in Texas yesterday, Monday. Early voting in Georgia has already begun. And shout out to the brothers and sisters in Atlanta. They've set a record. As a matter of fact, as many people have already early voted now as they did in 2020. In 2020, it was an all-time record for early voting for that state. So the brothers and sisters primarily have already matched that. They're showing up. We're showing up. Because this democracy thing is really real. And I'm telling you, we've taken having a democracy, but you can just, all I'm going to say is look at Russia. Look at Venezuela. Just do a Google search. Look at the dictatorship. Because there are people who used to be in that office at 1600 Pennsylvania who worship at the idol of Vladimir Putin and want to be a Putin, want to be a dictator, want to be a Viktor Orban out of Turkey, that wants to be a dictator, and that wants his family, want to have a family dictatorship. No, that's not what we're going to do. And we can stop it. We've got the power. You've got the power. I'm going to say it again in closing. You've got the power. There was a song in the 90s by a group called Snap. Google it. I've got the power. You have the power. And that's why folks are panicking. That's why this MAGA cult is losing their damn mind. And to my white brothers and sisters, you got to understand that this whole concept, this white Christian nationalism, this extreme form of domestic terrorism and racist, bigoted, anti-blackness, anti-Semitic, anti-immigrant, anti-Hispanic. Now, I know there's some white Hispanics, but just, you can pass for only so long. Because, first of all, whiteness was a made-up construct. So, a small handful of people could control social, economic, and political power. This whole concept of whiteness is rooted in power and who has it. Once again, in America, everybody was not considered white. When the Irish first got here, they were not considered white. They were considered the N-words, and they had a different N-word for them. The same for the Italians. When the Italians got to America, they weren't considered white. They didn't even want the Italian immigrants over here. They didn't want the Irish immigrants over here initially, they being those, basically, those from like England, the United Kingdom, the white Anglo-Saxon persons from Great Britain primarily that part of Europe. Irish weren't considered white. The Italians weren't considered white. Jews weren't considered white. And I'm gonna let you all in on it. It's not even a secret. These white Christian nationalists, many of them, like all these neo-Nazis and KKK members and all these racist militia groups, the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and the Three Percenters, they don't consider Jewish people white. Now you got Jewish people that you look at them, they look white. But these racists, the same people that hate us, hate black people, hate Jewish people, hate gays and lesbians, they hate Hispanics, they hate Asians, they hate gays, they hate Muslims. So they're not crazy about a bunch of white folks. Remember, all those domestic terrorists that stormed the Capitol January 6th of 2021, the majority of the people that was in the Capitol building were white. They built and brought a gallows to hang who? A white man, a powerful white man. That was the vice president, Mike Pence. So these domestic terrorists, they call whites, there's nothing supreme about hate. These white Christian nationalist terrorists, they came for other white people. If you don't buy into the MAGA cult, they're coming for you too. So wake up. Because this whole thing, this whole whiteness construct is fluid. You in the club today, you could be out the club tomorrow. Ride the tiger if you want to, but guess what? Eventually, that tiger is going to throw you off. And when he gets through eating up everybody else, he's going to get hungry, and you're going to be the only person left. And he's going to eat your ass too. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. God, and most of all, let me say, I want to say thank you to you, Danielle, and everybody at Professional Hairstyling, Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist of the Geno Jones Show, designer cuts out in Goose Creek. Check him out, Kel Be Cutting Up on Instagram. Kel Be Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. So, thank you to you, and especially you. And God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out in Los Angeles. Please, you and everybody you know. All right, Professional Hairstyling, all of you, I know all of you all, and tell all your girlfriends and your boyfriends and even folks you don't like to subscribe, and all your clients, everybody at work, your family, to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show. And you don't want to miss it tomorrow. Special guest, Ronald and Ernie Isley of the Isley Brothers. Yes, the legendary, iconic Mr. Big. Still got that swag at 81. My man, Ron Isley. When I grow up and be 81, I want to be like a cross between Ronald Isley and Smokey Robinson. Because them brothers still got that swag. Even the young girls like, ooh, girl, he'll get it. All right, everybody. Hey, listen, I got to do this. So, apologies to Monica, R&B superstar, R&B singer, star, superstar in the culture. Happy birthday, Monica. Really belated. So Monica turned 40 yesterday. Am I right? 40? Producer, yesterday? Yes, 42. Monica turned 42 yesterday. Happy birthday to one of the biggest stars, not just in hip-hop, in music. Drizzy Drake. Aubrey, that's his real name. Drake is his middle name. Aubrey Drake. I forgot his last name. Producer, what's his last name? Graham. Aubrey Drake Graham. So, Drake turned 36 yesterday. Happy birthday today. The brother that you see on The Office. Is he the only one on The Office? I didn't never watch The Office. I think Tracy Morgan was on that show too. Anyway, my man with the fro, repping Chicago, the Chi-Town. He out in LA now, but he's from the 312, south side of Chicago. Whitney Young High School, the Dolphins, stand up. Quentin Richardson, NBA star, went to Whitney Young. Bruce Gage, also the official wardrobe consultant, along with Allie Jones, is the proud alumni of Whitney Young High School in Chicago. Craig Robinson, comedian, he is 51 today. Judge Lynn Toller, you see her, she's the judge on divorce court, 63 today. If you were a fan of Girlfriends, you know, that 90 TV show, all the sisters love Girlfriends. So you remember Lynn, the sister that played Lynn, the light-skinned sister Lynn? Persia White is her real name. So she is the big nickel today. The big 5-0. Happy birthday, Miss Persia White. Talking about one of the biggest R&B superstars, one of the biggest music stars on the planet, Sierra. Happy 37th birthday, Sierra, in Denver now with her husband, Russell. Hey, Russ, listen, Sierra, I've been a big fan of your husband. I root for Russell Wilson, but, yo, Russ, bruh, man, you got to get together, partner, because they talking real bad about you in Denver. They talking real bad about you, man. And I can't co-sign for you, because you playing real bad. I digress. All right, the next live edition of the Geno Jones Show, like I said, tomorrow, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern with my special guest, Ronald Isley, Ernie Isley. They got a brand new album. And the #1 song in America, Make Me Say It Again, Girl, the duet with Beyonce. We got to talk about that, man. What made them pull so many great ballads from back in the day? What made them pull that song? And how did this collaboration with Beyonce come together? I want to know it all. Spill all the tea. Come on, Mr. Big, tell it all. You and Ernie. Ernie, bring that guitar with you. One of the greatest guitar solos ever, still to me, that guitar solo on Summer Breeze from that 3+3 album. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I will see you. If you missed some of the show, go back and watch it. You can binge watch all my back episodes. Get ready for tomorrow. It's going to be a fire. Vote. Vote. We got a choice. We can defend democracy, or we can allow others to destroy democracy. And our ancestors fought, cried, bled, and died so we could have the freedoms that we enjoy. So we owe it to our ancestors to protect this democracy that they endured so much and put up with so much and dealt with so much, so many of us could enjoy and live the lives that we are living now. We owe it to our great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents and grandparents who dealt with they really dealt with when racism was super legal. When it was legal, you could lynch a black person. As a matter of fact, Google the origin of the name picnic. The word picnic came from pick a N-word. They used to have these events. They put on their Sunday best, and the kids would have on their little church clothes. And they would leave church and come to this big picnic, and they would pick a N-word to hang. It would be like a big party and like a picnic. And in spite of that, they endured that so we could live in some form of democracy, because it still ain't really a democracy, because it ain't, there are different rules, but it's not the way it used to be. But there are people who want to take us back 200 years. And they're telling you that. So stop playing. Voting everybody you know. I need y'all to show up like y'all going to the Super Bowl, like you going to the Essence Festival. Rent a party bus. I don't give a damn. Rent a school bus. Do what you do. Do what you got. Take a caravan, but make sure you go vote. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.